So, what the heck has happened to old Changi Hospital? Why is it that we can enter in the past but cannot do so now? There's a reason for that, and watch out, because we have first-hand info from someone who has been inside before, and he told us something shocking.
When we enter a room in the hospital, I surely can smell medicine, or maybe it was the mortuary.
So, here's a bit of a context first. The old Changi Hospital was actually abandoned not that long ago. It kind of completely closed down from 1997 when Changi General Hospital opened. The old Changi Hospital was built by the British back in 1935, which explains why it looks like a red and white house. Cause I think nowadays we're all very familiar with red and white house. Interestingly, it was built not as a hospital first, but as a military installation, because an area in the east of Singapore was a military base to defend Singapore against any attacks from the east. One building was used to house soldiers, while the other as a small medical center. It was only during the Japanese occupation that the Japanese converted both buildings into a military hospital. However, there were rumors that it was used as a torture center to hold POWs and whatnot, but those are not verified. After the end of the occupation, the British then turned it into RAF Hospital Changi and added one more building. It remained as a military hospital even after Singapore gained independence, as it continued to serve military troops. It was initially called the UK Military Hospital, and then after the British withdrew all their troops, it was renamed as the Singapore Armed Forces Hospital. Interestingly, even when it was for SAF personnel and their immediate family members, they also served members of the public. Eventually, in 1976, it merged with Changi Chalet Hospital and was named Changi Hospital, operating as a public hospital until 15 December 1997. That was then it merged with Toa Payoh Hospital to form Changi General Hospital, which isn't located so far off in the Niao Pu Seng Tan place. Now, here's the thing. While we have read numerous stories and seen many stories about how haunted the old hospital is, the time when it was accessible to the public as an abandoned building was actually very, very short. You see, when it was so-called abandoned, the ownership of the building was transferred from the Ministry of Health to the Singapore Land Authority. Therefore, technically, it wasn't totally abandoned. It's just that as of then, it was unknown what would become of the building. So from 1997 to 2006, that was when all hell broke loose there. Sometimes, the premises were rented out for filming purposes, but most of us remember the period as the time when daredevils went there to hunt for ghosts. You see, during that period, it wasn't fenced up. Now, I'm not sure when it was fenced up, but back then, there was no physical barrier stopping you from trespassing it. But I have a friend who has been there at 11 PM during a weekend in the early 2000s, around 2001 to 2002, and he's here to relate how it was like during those years. Hey, super handsome fellow. Okay, so tell me, what is it like when you were there?
Yeah, so I was having a chalet there, and during the day, a few of my friends went to recce the area to ensure that it's safe. They told me there were a few people during the day, they would have to cram in some places, so we were worried and wonder whether we should go or not.
I know you very well, you're so humchi, you did it.
So then at 11 PM, I'm with lots of torchlights, cause we know it will be completely dark, but we were shocked the moment we reached there.
Oh my god, did you see Gombilang and Tan?
There were a few groups of people, all with torchlights. Last time we all used Nokia 3310, so have to use torchlight lah. In fact, there were so many people that I thought that if there were any ghosts, they would have rather gone to hell than to stay there with those white peas. Those white peas are not under 76 children.
Wait, don't joke about this. Yo, this is a scary video. Then what happened after that?
There was even a group of people outside, wondering if they should enter. My friends and I entered, and even jokingly told them to call the cops if we were not out within an hour.
Okay, so how was it?
I can't remember if I needed to cram anything to enter the building, but I remember having to cram something when I was in the building, either the windows or window. And inside the building, everything is abandoned, and there's something even scarier. Every few minutes, we see a group of people.
Hey Bodo, you sure you are telling me about the real experience in old Changi Hospital or a visit to horror nights last year?
Yeah, now that I said about this, it's like going into Halloween horror nights with all the jump scares and the lights. In fact, almost the same. But here's something even scarier. When we enter a room in the hospital, I surely can smell medicine, or maybe it was the mortuary. By right, we made a promise not to say any to our offensive regular there, but one of my friends said, hey, you smell that? And everyone went, yes, what is it?
Serious? How can it be?
Up till today, it's the second most unanswered question in my mind.
Gosh, still got something even more mysterious?
Oh, you're referring to the first most unanswered question in my mind?
Yeah.
I don't know what my wife wants to eat when she's in Drum Boy tonight.
Oh my god, that's scary. Go on.
Yeah, other than that, news also recent newspapers and are rubbish. Sometimes from afar, we can see young couples nearby alone, which we avoided because we were there singers and cheeseburgers, so we don't want to feel bad.
Okay, then what happened after that?
After 1 or 2 hours, we exited but most legal were called. Nothing much after that.
Okay, anything else to add?
I can't remember much.
Then by the way, how can you confirm that those groups of people you saw were human? Yeah, of course I can confirm because the so-called friend I interviewed is actually myself, cause I really got friend. But I have a friend who has been there. So tell me. Okay, the part about friend is a joke, but the experience there was true, as I was the one who visited the hospital myself. In fact, I was so crazy when I was young that I've even been to the other most haunted place in Singapore, the Pasir Ris Red House. So if you want me to do a video about it, just type Blue Cat was so brave when he was young and I might do one. But you get the idea. Back then, there were so many visitors, even at night, they kind of make it not so scary lah. That's why when I read stories or watch videos about how scary the place is, I know they might be fake, since it felt like I was in Sparks when I was in Old Changi Hospital. If you get it, then you're SOS. So what happened after that? It was fenced up, although the exact year it fenced up wasn't revealed. But it didn't stay abandoned throughout. SLA put it up for lease in 2006 to restructure the building with a new lease of life, and the company won the bid to build a spa resort. But the company failed to go through with the resort, originally due to the recession during that time, and the lease ended with SLA taking back the building in 2010. Eventually, as part of the plan to enhance the Changi Point area, the authority started a competition in 2021 to get members of the public to propose ideas. And the winning idea is to transform the hospital into a stargazing observatory. As of now, it's still not transformed yet. Whether eventually this will really be a place for us to see stars, or maybe even a place for us to enjoy a spa, is clear now. The building will stay there no matter what. In the meantime, here's something you should be more scared of in Singapore: wokeness. Watch this video and you'll understand. And thank you for spending almost 6 minutes with me. I really appreciate it.